So ayun na nga, magbabalik ang Week 3 Day 1 ng CFSPH Impact Summer 2025. Ako nga pala si Ramon, kasama ko si Sneaky Frogo. Kami naman ang magkakast ng susunod na BO3 para sa araw na ito. It will be Heroics versus Vengeance para matapos natin ang araw ngayon. Well, it's been a pretty fun game na makita kanina. Yung game with Reyes 7 winning it out kanina. But I think this is a perfect way para makapag-chill tayo, Sneaky. I think this match is everything for both of these teams. Kaya feeling ko ay magiging maayos makikita natin sa susunod nating laban.
Yeah, for sure. Heroics and yung itong Vengeance, no? Both of them are chasing yung third and fourth spot dito sa standings para makapasok na dito sa playoffs. Obviously, Heroics, I think this team can play a lot better, no? Considering yung kanilang showing for the past few weeks and considering yung kanilang record being 1-1 actually, which is not bad of a loss para sa side ng Heroics as they did lose to etong Sunday Shrooms in a very, very close 3-map banger, no? So, para naman sa akin, I feel like Heroics, there's still a lot to offer para sa kanilang team. And for Vengeance naman, it's still a whole lot of stardom carrying siguro itong team na to. There's a very, very good performance from sa mga individual players nila men, pero there's still some spots na pwede nilang i-improve siguro when it comes to their teamwork. But yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a very solid match. Both teams are practically halos magka-level lang sila dito, pare.
Yeah, pareho din sila middle of the pack sa standings natin din, no? So talagang tama lang na sila yung mag-aayos para makaabot sa top 4 natin. Hindi na nagkakalayo sa standings, so talagang napaka-init na ng paghahabol nila sa pag-abot patunta doon sa place ng Sunday Shrooms as well. But that's if kung magpa-falter nga ba yung magiging performance ng Sunday Shrooms sa kanilang susunod na game. So we'll have to wait and see for that. Of course, focus tayo dito sa naging matchup natin ngayon. I think Heroics is actually building on some really good solid foundation sa kanila. No? Parang ang slow ng start nung nagsimula tayo sa kanilang season dito, having really solid performances against the likes of tingnan ko lang, Sunday Shrooms na nagsimula sila sa week 1. I think it was a very close affair, 3 games all throughout. Tapos ngayon parang bumawi sila nung nakalaban nila yung Arise Gaming team last weekend. No? So parang going up and down yung naging performance. You can see that there's potential. You can see that there's also some mistakes along the way na hindi naman natin masasabi na nagkakos sila entirely. So talagang may pambawi at may chance na makapag-prove na solid sila sa top 4 natin. Whereas Vengeance naman, sila naman yung masabi natin parang friendship is the way to go everywhere else, diba? Kasi parang ang ganda kasi ng synergy nila as a team, parang sama-sama lang sila Alred, si Sua. Remember that game nung nag-31 kills si Kara on Black Widow against Matt Chess? That's one way to put it out there, man. May times na talaga may standout sa kanila, pero most of the time, solid sila as a team na may teamwork talaga.
Yeah, for sure. Yun nga, no, we can't ignore yung performance dito ni Kara up against itong matches. Still resulted in an L para sa kanila dito going into last week. Pero ayun nga, no, it's a classic Vengeance thing where they really do perform amazingly pagdating sa mapa ng Black Widow, and then when it involves yung mga ibang mapa natin like itong Compound, like itong Ankara, they really do look lost, no? So I wouldn't be surprised kung ibaban ng Heroics ito Black Widow and just play any other map and try and beat itong Vengeance from there. However, Vengeance, I mean, their Compound wasn't too bad up against itong matches, pare, and their Ankara was pretty bad, so might as well try na iwasan yun as much as possible. Pero I expect no sub-base dito sa map dito. Yup, we're gonna go straight up Ankara, Port, and Compound, and ayun nga, it's not really a surprise yung first 2 backbans na nakita natin, men.
No surprise there. I mean, nakita mo ba naman, every time that Heroics have their coveted sub-base, parang nagiging advantage, may edge na sila agad doon. So, gumawa ng homework, nag-aral bigla ang Vengeance. No? Alam na nila yung preparations nila coming into this. They also saw yung naging potential ni Kara all the way from that side of the map as well. Kaya talaga namang kailangan nilang i-halter yung kanyang naging performance dito. No surprise that Mexico Clodes 2 is not here, so Eagle Eye also. It's kind of interesting kasi Eagle Eye for me is sort of like a teamwork style of map. Kaya siguro na isip nila na since yun nga yung isang mga strengths ng Vengeance, they did prefer na i-ban yun against this team. So going at it, Ankara, Port, and Compound, they're playing a bunch to the strengths of the teams na meron tayo dito. Vengeance, they do rely on those slow-tempoed maps. Kaya Ankara being that first pick, hindi siya nakaka-surprise at all. Port being one of the maps na may experience, ang Heroics naman ayun, parang go back to the comfort picks ka naman para sa kanila.
Yeah, And Port, not a surprise in all honesty, no, considering how Ghosted performed nung last series. Granted, it is AGT yung kanyang kalaban. He still had a pretty good sniper game, to say the least, and he's gonna try to replicate it, no, dito sa map number 2. Para naman sa Ankara, I am a bit worried para dito sa Vengeance, as, you know, they've had their hard times dito sa mapa na to, from what I've seen personally, no, on some of their tournaments. And going up against itong Heroics, which obviously has some very insane players on their team, ayun nga, it's gonna be a very tough time, especially considering BL pa naman yung simula dito ng Heroics. And this is also a test, no, on the players who overperformed. Galing sa baka nakita natin last week, I'm looking at yung matchup natin between kay Suwa at kay Zolek, actually, between yung dalawang teams, as both of them performed very, very well. Granted, it was against, you know, maybe a weaker opponent para dito sa Heroics and para naman dito sa Vengeance. So, I mean, you performed up against itong matches, so that's still a pretty good sign for the future para dito sa Vengeance. But there you go, this is a true test kung sino magsistay dito sa mid ladder natin, pare.
Totoo nga naman no? And it will come down to how close the game goes as well. Kasi, yun nga, para makaabot sila dun sa mas mataas, dapat maging 2-0 ito, at saka dapat mas maging lopsided, kumbaga, yung ating magiging performances nila sa maps natin dito. So, the round differential is gonna make a lot more sense pagdating dun sa magiging tiebreakers natin. But nevertheless, it will be a good game para sa pareho nating Heroics versus Vengeance, and it will be yung ating second match of the day para sa kanila. A lot more on the stakes on the line here for both of these teams talaga. So, I really do think the predictions here will do matter for both of us. As I'm gonna say, Vengeance 2-1. I think the way that they are able to handle themselves are just makes me tell myself na mataas yung floor nila. Even if sometimes their ceiling is not that high to begin with. What about you, Sneaky?
I'm actually feeling a Heroics 2-1 dito, pare. Or not 2-1, run that back. I'm feeling a Heroics 2-0 dito, in all honesty. Not because na ayun nga, Vengeance is a team that, you know, it will get crushed, no, or ina-expect na maging crush sila dito, pare. But I really feel like without Black Widow dito sa kanilang map pool, ayun nga, Vengeance, I expect them to be confused on some of these angles, pare. Not underestimating the team at all, no, dito sa series natin. But then, in terms of better map pool, siguro pwede natin ilagay dito sa Heroics, considering the experience of the team, having itong si Ghosted, of having itong si Silent, of having itong si X3D. Plus, ayun nga, no, I was more impressed dito sa performance dito ni Zolek as of recent. So, let's see, man. Heroics, I am putting a lot of trust dito sa team na to, pare. And para naman sa Vengeance, sorry guys, I'm not underestimating you, just seeing it how it is, pare.
Totoo nga naman. No? It's firepower versus teamwork at the end of the day. At para sa Heroics, kung kaya ba naman i-hold yung stride nila papunta dito, syempre, I think the map veto does a really solid foundation kung paano sila nag-start. So we'll have to wait and see. The last time that makita natin yung Vengeance on Ankara was not the best of showings that we can kind of see on the broadcast. Against Matt Jess, I'd say na maybe it was less about yung naging misperformance nila against Matt Jess than rather it being Matt Jess's performance mismo sa Ankara rather than anything. Kaya baka kaya nilang ipagbawi iyon. Maybe they could have a little bit more of a better performance dito and maybe use Ankara as a para na mas solid na map, may pag-pick sa ibang ng map dito. No? So we'll have to wait and see. Heroics, this will be their time to shine pagdating this sa Ankara. If they're able to get themselves a leg up dito against Vengeance, it will be a good time for them. As the same could be said as well for Vengeance. They get their Ankara, they mawawala yung demonyo nila na natatakot sila sa pagpasok dito sa Ankara, and then it'll be a smooth transition to Port. But Port is a little bit more 50-50, I'd say. Parang since Heroics already had a really solid performance dun sa Port nila, I think they'll have a bit more of an edge. But we'll see, man. Kasi at this point, sa Impact, medyo di mo din talaga masasabi kung sino talaga yung talagang obvious na magpo-perform ng maayos dito.
For sure. Ayun nga, no, despite yung prediction ko dito sa Vengeance, pare, I still really hope na Kara, you know, performs the exact same way na nakita natin from that last week's stint, no? I mean, I know that Alreds is a very, very good player when he gets his ball rolling dito sa mapa na to, and Su has a very nice support. Asinit has his moments as well pagdating sa kanyang lurking, and his calling as well has been, you know, pretty good so far dito sa season natin. But I really feel like this is gonna be the second test after, or yun nga, this is the test after yung matches, no, on what level is Vengeance truly playing at. dito sa Impact, pare? Are they gonna be, barely outside of playoffs dito, pare, contending with yung lower ladder teams natin? Or are they gonna be actively competing dito sa top 4? This is gonna be the proving point, no? Na Vengeance probably, maybe, might just make playoffs if they do beat itong HRC, pare.
Yep, same could be said as well for them, but we'll see how it goes. BL para sa Heroics, habang ang Vengeance naman ang magsa-start ng defense nila. Hotel side already secured for them, tapos may mag-hold pa doon sa may bypass, while we must have a double stack doon sa loob ng A site. We have Jeloy and Kara. White Sea has been a standout performer. Pagdating doon sa ating naging second week, they've been doing a really good job integrating him sa comfortability niya dito sa lineup natin. While Heroics, sila naman, slowly crossing in towards that mid position, habang si Sua naman yung mag-gatekeep natin dito. Kung dalawa silang sasama, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble dito, Sneaky.
For sure. Bit of CA control. Para sa Heroics, Vengeance is allowing it, making some traps dito sa mapa natin that Heroics can definitely walk into, pare. Pero Heroics more about the setup this time. A lot less aggressive as per usual, no? I think they are respecting yung capabilities ng Vengeance. Or it could also be one of the bet games dito, pare, na they did as of recent. And it seems like the Vengeance did a number on them, pare, with this amount of respect. As in it will get the first frag dito kay Ghosted. As in it already naghahanap na agad ng flank. Ganito kaagad dito sa game natin. Silent looking to punish this flank ongoing. Aldrets hitting a nice no-scope kay Jezreel, pero nakapasok na sila sa B-site. Silent's gonna be the breakpoint para sa kanyang team. Problem nga lang, as in it gonna be making his way all the way into Hotel, pero aware naman yata yung HRC because of the earlier flank. Pero Silent not spotted actually dito ni Jeloy. Silent getting the kill still. So 3v3 even Steven. Kara looking for the opener dito kay Zolek. X3D already. His mind is on Hotel, pare. Pero Zolek with a double kill already. X3D with the jumping spray as Heroics, they take the first round on the board. Ganda ng simula, pre. Kaso di nila na-take advantage yung first pick dito ni Azenit din.
That and yung flank din coming through from Azenit as well. Since honestly, if the timing was perfect, they could have actually locked down yung naging slide entrance natin. And the fact na hindi din naghintay itong si Zolek na may magbibig sa kanya from the corner, siya na mismo yung umuna. That really set the tone for them na hindi sila nakahanap ng kahit anong entrada sa pagpasok dito sa may batteries. Losing all control sa pag-retake nila dito sa site, and with that mid setup as well being locked away by Heroics themselves. Definitely was a good start to finish para sa kanilang round, 1-0. And now you see a little bit more of a passive setup para sa kanila. You got Jezreel trying to lock down yung Hotel control nila dito, pushing on with the 1-3-1 setup. They're still letting the CA control be given. Tsaka, if all honesty, kung gusto nilang kunin yung kakyatan, mabilisan lang to para sa Heroics as they're gonna make their way back into the mid setup yet again. Sua expected with his position dito. And X3D is already holding up with the cross box as well. Let's go. Una with the utility. On up the flash, but Sua's gonna take the first pick off. Peek on through, kita si Zolek. At pwede din siyang bumalik para magkaroon siya ng konting semblance of control on the mid side. So, there's some damage para dito sa Vengeance. And with 1 minute on the clock, medyo flexible pa rin yung options na despite the numbers.
Yeah, smoke on that EA position. Or the losing si X3D at the start of the round is not a sign for good times. Pero knowing itong Heroic, they've already bailed themselves out of a prior 4v5 situation, pare. As the flashes are gonna start to ring through, Jezreel gonna bank it dito sa ating pole. Kara not gonna be blinded at all, pero Jezreel spotting may BTT, pero si Kara pa nga mauna makakuha ng kill dito. Getting to from that EA position, and the flying Silent cannot get itong si Kara, pare. 1-1 Vengeance with a hella good hold from their EA player. And ayun nga, I feel like Heroic, maybe that first pick was way more important than they expected, pare. Might have missed a bit more impact galing kay X3D.
Totoo, man. And in all honesty, with that snowball coming through to site, there's never going to be an expectance of the amount of numbers that they still had on that A side itself. And if good pick off dito kay Aldez is showing a little bit more of that comfortability back into the map. With that bypass push, Aldez will go down. That makes it an early 5v4 Vengeance. Medyo passive na sa approach nila, 2-2 setup. Mid already open. Pero with the Heroics comfortable with getting that first pick off, it could possibly be a fast attempt dito sa loob ng A-site natin. Kara Kind of hungry to take the first pick off yet again. Silent spotted, tries to re-peek and does go down itong si Kara. Jeloy spotted and even kills off tong si Zolek as well. A double para kay dito kay Silent naman is looking good para sa Heroic's execution as they're already inside of the site at may plant pa kay Jezreel, so it will go down with a 4 versus 2.
Yeah, Heroic playing scarily standard no dito sa game natin. Silent getting si Sua as in it will get another kill, pero that's the flash and that's the peak. As in it fully blinded, not much he can do unless he does get itong si XAD, but XAD has the corner. 2-1, Heroics, pansin ko they're aggressively chasing that opening pick every single start of the round. And if they do, they start moving on one side of the map and then they go for the full execute. Pero para naman sa Vengeance, so they're not gonna allow that to happen every single time. So, exchange nila yung kanilang depensa dito. A lot less focused on the site itself, more about that mid-control. Pero perfect call para sa Heroic to overtake itong hotel and keep Vengeance guessing dito, pare.
And sometimes yung usual na mga strats para makuha yung first pick off noon is some semblance of push doon sa mid side lagi. But for a few times, it's always on that mid top position, and a few times because somebody is pushed on doon sa may bypass. So, a bit more of a mix and match na para sa Heroics. They split off 3-2, possibly to play around this crossfire. Play against it. Kara, Sua have to be aware of this fact. Spotted at least yung CA player. Pero si Kara hindi na maghihintay. Push on in from him and it's a double kill para sa kanya. That is a beautiful setup para sa Vengeance. At mukhang hindi pa nagpapatinag si Kara ngayon. Jumping up and down, get some info, gets a headshot. That's another shot para kay Kara, who is on a hot streak. 6 kills for him. 1 versus 4 na ngayon ang sniper para sa Heroics na nag-iisa lamang at wala sa kanya yung bomba.
Yeah. Ghosted. Only one left alive. Had a hell of a performance dun sa recent nila na series and up against itong AGT. Let's see if he can replicate the exact same thing up against itong Vengeance. Jello is spotted. Ghosted spotted as well. Ang kanyang pagka-push dito sa smoke. Gets the first shot. Pero nandun si Aldrets in that exact same corner as well. 2-2. Vengeance. Some rounds on the board galing sa kanilang GR side. Some very well-defended positions galing sa kanila dito. And I like yung slight adjustment to be more focused on mid. At the same time, Heroics, their priorities were all over the place trying to get yung first pick nila dito.
Yeah. And maybe they're gonna go back to what works para sa kanila, no? Kasi now, kanina you kind of see a little bit more of an adjustment sa style nila na hindi sila komportable. Back onto the execute siguro and possibly just play for the extremities. And just that fact, parang ang ganda na naging position talaga ng dalawa nilang players, si Kara at si Sua. They played around that CA control and when they made some noise, fully focused to ibang Heroics players. So baka nga hindi sila naging fully focused on that Vents position. Kaya mabilis na naging first pick off. Sua, same position. Not playing the crossfire anymore. Back onto his original spot. Sua getting 1. Ghosted and X3D gonna get themselves 2 picks to exchange. Still gonna be that mid presence down for the count for them as Vengeance. They're playing around the retake scenario while Zolek hits a really nice shot papunta kay Aldrex. Pasok na agad sa loob ng site itself. It's gonna be a 4 versus 2 para sa Vengeance natin where they're playing for the retake scenario or possibly just defend the site itself.
Yun lang. Dahil sa presence rin ni Ghosted, no, hindi sila makabuelo sa pag-push nila ng B-side. Pero Kara gusto na pilitin. Kara within batteries. He's actually gonna get X3D. Pero Jezreel with the wallbang. Good knowledge. 1 versus 2. Jeloy just gonna get spotted. Just gonna get killed by Ghosted. 3-2 Heroics. Bit of an example dito ng kanilang split pressure dito sa mapa. Getting something going sa high mid and getting something going sa B-side as well. And yun nga, medyo na blindside yung depensa ng, or yung default dito na Vengeance. Actually, they're getting baited all over the place dito, men.
Yeah. Early util, tapos early presence then on the map, kind of, parang hinayaan nila. Makapasok lang din sila dito as Heroics. Mix and match na ulit. Pasok sa Vens. 1 tap from Kara. Init na init. Labas ng utility. Gawin with a knife para mas mabilis siya makabalik. What a sick movement from Kara. And napakaliit lang ng HP niya. So he has to be careful now. Flash on through. Pasok na agad dun sa 2F. Heroics are trying to play this as cool and as calm as collectively, but still they're walking into the lines then. And Jelloy gonna pick up the first yet again. Zolek and X3D, they trade each other off. It's a 2v3. So win another. Ang Heroics mukhang hirap na hirap makapasok, makapag-plant ng bomba. Vengeance responding in kind. Another shot from Zolek. A jumping double kill. And a 1v1. May flank pa si Aldrets. May time pa para mag-rotate ang Heroic dito.
And yeah, I think he has a rough idea kung saan manggagaling si Aldrets as well. Hindi siya nagpakita ng presence that entire time sa exit. So most likely he is going for that far flank. Alrets though, assuming na naka-rotate na agad siya dito sa B site. Pero that bit of hesitation actually. He is questioning kung bakit hindi pa nakababa yung C4 dito from Zolek. So, Alrets assuming na he is in that spawn position, no? Looking for any semblance of information galing sa last player ng Vengeance. But Alrets playing this one very, very carefully, pare. Pero nakababa na nga ng mid itong si Zolek. Whoever decides to stop tap walking first is probably gonna win. Pero wala. I mean, even itong si Alret's actually confused. And I think Zolek, I think at this point, you don't investigate hotel kung meron man doon. Lalabas na sila at this point. He's gonna plant out in the open too. And yun nga, pwede na siya bumalik ng RS dito. Problema nga lang, Alret's, if he can catch a sick timing dito kay Zolek, that would be very, very nice. And that he did. He misses the shot pero tumama yung kanyang ult doon, Zolek. A shot that was given to you, pare, but unfortunately, he would not receive that win. 3-3 Vengeance, keeping it close dito sa Ankara, pare.
Siguro nagulat siya. Hindi, akala niya siguro sa Ares magagaling, pero still, because he positioned himself a little too open, it's an easy shot from the Colt. I gotta tell na pareho sila nagulat doon kasi hindi niya alam na makapag-push siya doon pabalik doon sa may top. And now you can see Zolek push on through, hasn't it? At si Silent nakapag-trade nga 1-for-1. And both the riflers talagang willing to take the first early fight, but popcorn shot again from Sua. That is the nade kill papunta kay Zolek. Sabog into a 4 versus 3 heroics. Faltering sa mid-side natin. Pero still, Vengeance with that numbers advantage. Tamang chill lang sa pareho nilang hino-hold pa rin nung nag-start pa rin yung round natin.
There we go. Good shot galing kay Ghosted though, getting itong si Sua. Now the defense very split apart. RS pwedeng i-take over dito ng heroics, but then you're gonna have to catch a very nice timing galing dito kay Alrets, but this is a very nice position galing kay Ghosted. If there's an attempt of a rotation galing dito kay Alrets, he would have actually gotten him. Pero yun lang, they decide to stack that A site. Not bad of a decision para dito sa Vengeance, trying to keep the numbers. Pero B ang usapan natin dito, and they're gonna have to rotate very, very quickly as soon as they see that timer at the top.
Hirap
Pero
din.
yun nga.
Kasi si Silent kasi, he's also one of the players willing to actually take a forward fight. But that's kind of risky din kasi kapag sa RS sila mag-push, he's gonna be facing up against 3 people coming on to him. Hindi siya si JJ, hindi siya si kahit ano na nasa UM side. So he's not really willing to take that kind of fight. Heroics are gonna try to play this a passive approach. Vengeance gonna put all the utility back in towards the site itself. But a one tap, what a double kill para kay Kara. The control, the confidence. Pinakita nga ang sarili niya dito. 1 versus 3. Dex gonna start strong with 1. 12 seconds to defuse.
Well, Dex is inside.
Kara's inside, but he's gonna kill him off with a triple kill. Ganun kabilis lamang na pumasok si Dex, pero ganun kabilis lang din siyang pinatalsik dito sa round natin. It's a 4-3 para sa Vengeance. What a round for them.
Yeah, what a game galing kay Kara as well. 11-4 so far dito sa laruan natin. And just like how I expected, no, the matchup's gonna pan through. It is gonna be a Zolek versus Kara matchup dito sa series natin. Zolek having a hell of a game as well. Zesriel having a rough go at it dito sa laruan natin. But then, he has been playing anchor / I will hold the other side of the map as my team is also trying to execute to Euro on the other side. So he's not finding the same opportunities. Alrets does get the kill on him, and available na dito ang hotel area para sa Vengeance na mag-push or at least, just hold it down, have less players there, and mas mag-focus sila dito sa A site.
It's a pretty forward position nga from Vengeance right now kanina. Catching off Jezreel. And because of that, kasi isa na lang yung parang nakuha nila, they just back off yet again. And those, parang ang dami ng amount of times na tendencies na hinahayaan nilang makuha ng blacklist side yung mga space na kailangan nila. See that from their bypass push a couple of times. But then, over at mid where you kind of see a little bit more of that presence. So nagkakaroon ng capitalization. Zed, X3D actually is gonna take a lot of damage done. It's not enough to kill him off though. As ang dami pang damage galing dito sa top layer, but Kara's gonna pick off tong si Silent. Back to the defense push we go para dito sa Heroics. As Zolek's gonna take the first contact. Second frag for Kara, having a wonderful game na ngayon. 13 kills for him. Semblance of what has been yung second week performance niya na bumabalik ngayon sa third week natin, Heroics. Still on a 2 versus 5 situation. Jeloy gonna get the headshot dito kay Ghosted at hindi na talaga makakapasok. Wala nang entry. Wala nang pasok-pasok para sa Heroics dito sa A-site natin as he's gonna get surrounded. Sa dinarami-raming Vengeance players na pumapasok sa A-site natin, it will be a 5-3 and a flawless round as that.
Yun nga, I mean, rough execute galing dito sa Heroics. Honestly, having Silent on his own dito sa kanyang bench position without any trade-ups or at least any presence galing dito sa EA to try and distract Kara from his spot. Pero ghosted. Can serve as a surprise para dito kay Suwa. Azenit is a known entity sa hotel as well. Pero yun lang, napatalikod siya dito. HM is in the full control dito na Heroics to at hahanapin siya dito ni Silent to go and secure this hotel position. Azenit with the right dodge at the right time does get taken down. Jesril taking out si Jello as well sa kabilang side ng map. It's only Kara and Alretz left with the sniper. Nakuha niya pa kasi Zolekton in tower. 35 seconds, not much time para makagawa dito. So it's probably just a double HM play.
Yeah. You can also you're kind of thinking they want somebody to overpeak pero they're playing this with the utmost discipline na ngayon. May tao sa loob ng RS. Si Dex pahanap lang din dito. Alretz but another shot. It's a 1v1. A sniper versus Silent on the rifle. Just trying to play his hand
Silent, what are you doing?
Pero tumaas siya dito sa harap ni
What?
Alretz. A Colt in hand. Pero it was 2 bullets to the body that claims the 6th round para sa Vengeance. That retake. They made it look easy.
I feel like it was a bad kill cam siguro from one of the players dito ng Heroics, but at the same time, I didn't hear a defuse or a tap or anything. So, I mean, yeah, no reason for Silent to be that far forward just to look for the last player. Maybe trying to surprise him siguro, pero you got a bit of a panic happening. Pero Vengeance, do they know about the long A push? Seems like no is the answer para Zolek X3D. Silent immediately getting 3. Papunta nga dito sa LA. C4 nakababa na nga. They're trying to fight back. Jeloy getting 2. Silent Zolek down. Bit of casualties happening dito sa LA pero na-confirm na ng Heroics at least that it is gonna be an A push at meron pang tao na nasa loob ng CA. They are trapped in this A site, man.
I mean, good on them. Very aggressive start. It is a LA push natin. Ghosted, expecting tong si Alretz to kind of hold himself back down doon sa same position since sila nagsimula. To get themselves a 3 versus 1 advantage just off the bat. And it's just gonna be Jeloy, who I believe can do this kung na-pick up niya tong si Ghosted to start with. Hash on in towards the boxes and spots him out. Does not hit the shot. Balik na ulit dito sa boxes natin. Hinahintay na lang yung double flank coming through from Dex and Jesril. That's a nice shot. A spray down. Pabuta kay Ghosted and he hits it. 1v1. And against Dex, he does not get the same result. 4-6 pa nga para sa Heroics. Hindi natin masasabi na medyo imposible na makapag-equalize sila dito, man.
Yeah, for sure. Did end in a 1v1 pare. They did try to go for a aggressive LA push which worked initially pero maybe gone a bit too hard. Pero Ghosted spotting too dito sa lower mid. Actually, he's gonna repeat that 1000%. And he does get his Suwa but not Kara. So, another 3v3 sa start ng round. Tamang exchange lang siguro ng mga early peaks dito as Azenit instructs his team. Tara mag-B-side tayo dito. Let's go into hotel. There is a bit of a timing going on habang nagta-transition pa yung Heroics from their A defense towards B. Pero Silent already investigating dito sa tunnels. Actually, kung makita niya na maaga na meron ng players na papasok dito sa B-site, this could be early information going his way. Jeloy, first peek, Silent, getting Azenit. Big miss from Azenit, actually. So it's a 2v2. Kara and Jeloy versus Silent and at itong si Zolek. And let's see what the retake can offer dito, pare.
Mukhang pwede pa no? Parang just because of that frag on bypass, naging wide open na yung round natin as this 2 versus 2 commences with the retake scenario. Jeloy isolated from Kara right now, kaya yung first pick-off is gonna be everything for them. Back turn, Zolak with 1 second para sa retake nila. That is a very wrong error para sa Heroics right now. Well, actually, for Vengeance, para sa kanilang positioning, nabigyan ng opportunity na makapasok si Zolen nang walang kahirap-hirap with a 5-6 win.
Yeah, I was wondering kung ano yung tinitignan nun ni Jeloy actually because you had one job which is to watch the cross para hindi malikuran dito si Kara but then maybe he just got slightly distracted. Maybe he was looking at yung minimap natin. That's mistakes that should not happen in a 2v2 in all honesty. And Ghosted will go for the full punish. Sua shooting through the smoke, only hitting him on the liver, pare. But Sua wants to chase for this trade, pare. But the repeat is actually not gonna work out para kay Ghosted. 3 shots, only 1 out of 3 hit para sa kanya dito. Pero Jesril getting itong si Azenit flank is no longer available for the boys. Pero Alret's actually staying behind sa LA. So, ayun na. The early round joust has concluded, pare. And here we have the actual round dito, men.
Ito, man. Double push up pa dito sa may bypass. So it's telling us na parang naghahanap pa ng laban ang Heroics na ngayon. Na naspot ni Alrets at hindi pa siya kakapos sa shot niya dito. Woo! Silent down. 3v2. Alrets low on HP. One nade's gonna do it. Pero si Jezreel masyado nang busy. Naspot pa ni Jeloy. Masyado siyang malayo sa teammate niya dito. Nasa loob siya na napakalapit sa RS. Alrets gonna pick up to another one. It's gonna be a 3v1. Si X3D na lang. He was held up doon sa pag-defend na doon sa may B-side itself. Kaya Vengeance have a lot of time to kind of configure kung saan sila magagaling. But Alret's gonna hit the shot yet again. Expecting another pecan from one of the Heroics players. It's a 7-5. Vengeance takes the lead again.
Yeah, I mean, Vengeance with the most classic Ankara strat of staying inside of the base as Heroics tries to get map control and overextend eventually dito, pare. X3D. Active challenge not gonna be answered para sa kanya dito. AWM gonna be serving Alret's way better dito sa round natin, and that is in a very hard to reach position in order to get that back. Pero meron pa naman sila sniper sa kamay ni Ghosted, but Ghosted is all the way in B side, so it's up to the rifles whether or not makaka-defend sila dito sa A side.
Yan. Missing one half of the crossfire. Si Zolek, he's kind of hindi siya takot na kumuha ng gantong mga engagements kaya nakikita mo siya with the close angle. It's just that what type of player is he going to be expecting out of this side? White peak, maybe not. Jello though does actually get himself one. Zolek gets the 1-for-1 pero still damage done. Jezreel medyo questionable nga eh, no? How is he able to get something out of that right like there?
I was just wondering why he was taking bypass na nakatalikod. I mean, I guess he was checking left side ng market, but you can check that like in 1 second. You just flick your mouse for a second there, pare. Pero, ayun nga, maybe he was paranoid that someone was in or near the big door position, near that hotel. Pero this is gonna serve way better para dito sa Vengeance. Lack of information across the map para dito sa Heroics. And it's all up to the guesses now ng mga players kung saan nga manggagaling ang Vengeance squad natin. But I think they have a rough idea. Barely any presence dito sa A side, and I feel like si Silence gonna start to investigate in floor A once na meron ng nag-swing dito. Pero Ghosted doesn't spot any of the players. Actually, Fast is gonna go through. He's gonna have to run as fast as possible. Papunta nga dito ng RS, and he does make it. Zolek with the first frag. Can he get the second one? Ghosted getting it. Osikara, big important kill. Jeloy getting silent. Zolek getting another one on the board as Alretz finally takes him down. Ghosted versus Alretz. It's a sniper versus sniper matchup. Ghosted not doing better than Alretz so far dito, pare, pero Ghosted can also hit the shots. But 14 seconds to operate. Alretz finally a C4 plant down. He's gonna go for a pre-aim. Probably with the sniper out. Pero dahil nga hindi na nakita si Ghosted doon, he's gonna go for the wide swing. Ghosted with the mind game staying inside of RS, making sure na he's just barely out of vision for that full swing. And 7-6 para dito sa Heroics. I mean, it's been down to the 1v1s, the 3v3s, pare. We haven't seen too much 5v5 action, pero it's been tight either way.
Totoo, man. I mean, that tells you the caliber of players na meron tayo dito ngayon. 14 kills, Alretz 15 kills, kay Kara. They kind of made it a little too close, especially give that up para dito kay Jeloy. Pero si Alretz really on these long shots, taking down tong si Ghosted, the hero dito sa ating last round. Finally, you can see a little bit more spotlight dito kay Alretz sa buong game natin. It's an early 5v4. But still, no? Medyo na-notice mo nga na medyo nagkakaroon na ng patience, discipline, yung Heroics na naging problema nila from a lot of the previous games. They could kind of get a little too overly aggressive in a lot of that early mid fights. But now in that round, you see a lot more discipline, a lot more patience and communication from them. Si Zolek, hindi siya dapat willing na kumuha ng mga fights na mabilisan, diba? So he's kind of going in and out of it to try to bait out yung position ng Vengeance para sila yung mag-peak sa mga RS players.
No, pero Alretz getting silent, slowly peeking towards the A side natin. And I think they're really trying to attract as much attention as possible, no, to try and pull some of these players to rotate. As it is a 2v5, Zolek checking the smoke. And yeah, it's getting a bit desperate para dito sa ating Heroics na squad as it does get the last kill, as it is at 8-6, and I hope to see My boy Jesril back in action before the round to start, pero it seems like it is gonna be a DR pare. Yun nga, Heroics, hey, kind of tripping dito sa Ankara na map. It's always ending up in a 4v5 or a 5v4 in their favor or in their disadvantage, no? And yun nga, flipping that coin 50-50 every single time dito sa start ng round. Obviously, yun nga, no, Vengeance is gonna start to expect it, pare, and Aldrets has been collecting these opening kills very, very well para sa kanyang team. And with Ghosted out of commission sa start ng round, no, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of the defense para dito sa Heroics to try and just rely on the rifles kasi yun nga, no, we've seen how effective Ghosted in be if you post if you post him up at the right place at the right time, pare. So yun nga, Vengeance is just in full punish mode dito sa kanilang BL side. They're not really doing any active na the strats outside of the 5v5, pare. It's only been the 3v3s.
Yeah. And I think you can kind of contribute that to how well their system works sa mga teams na aggressive nga sa kanila. You can kind of saw them. You kind of saw that in their first game. Nung nakalaban nila yung Al Sovereign liked to throw everything at them, but then Vengeance kind of threw something harder. So parang perfect reactionary team. And you kind of also a little bit more out of that against the Matches game. Pero medyo na falter din sila because of this team that Matches were also picking up nung nagtagal yung series nun. So I think it's just here or there. I think you're seeing a lot more safe play coming through from them dahil din sa the way Ankara also is structured as a map. It's kind of okay na maibigay yung mga mid spaces, yung CA control na binibigay nila, at tapos minsan tamang smoke lang dun sa may EA. If they push in towards vents, they usually have a setup where one aggressive player is actually gonna have a strong defense on that. It's usually gonna be Kara, it's usually gonna be Zolek, and in those regard, parang okay na yun sa kanila. Parang they don't really need to do much. They can kind of stick to what works, and that's been working so far para sa kanila ngayon, para sa Vengeance.
Yeah, pero I mean, it's not gonna work every single time siguro of them just holding yung first minute of the clock siguro. It's there's gonna come a time where Heroics is gonna realize, this is getting a bit iffy. Yung score natin dito, let's try to hold it down. Let's be a lot more passive, no? Be a lot more reactive na lang sa ginagawa dito ng Vengeance. So, tayo nga, maybe adjustments are gonna be needed after we go back after ng dead round natin dito. But we're gonna have to wait and see kasi Heroics, they really do want to make that first pick happen, and it's evident pa naman sa mga Tunnels B push na nagagaling dito kay Ghosted, pare. But I think he needs to chill a bit muna kasi medyo we're getting in a spot where the game where they could actually take the L, especially considering na they're not getting the opening picks dito kay Kara. Instead, they're taking it out dito kay Sua, Azerit, and or kay Jeloy. But Kara is still live and alive dito sa mga rounds natin.
Yeah, and sometimes kapag nag-over pushes nga Vengeance, maybe that's also a big punishment, but we'll see. Heroics triple push up, and medyo na-expect ni Jello ito, but Ghosted and Zolek, they're able to bounce it back through into a early 2 versus nothing. And Ghosted with a shot! What an AWM push coming through para sa EA player natin na si Ghosted. 1 versus 5, hasn't it? In a blink of an eye, siya na lang yung natitira dito. At talaga nga namang sa layo at sa dinarami-rami ng lumalapit na Heroics players he's gonna have to get lucky kung mapapatay niya yung at least itong si X3D. Possibly expect the trade out for Zolek, but they're separating and they're making noise. Narinig na ata ni X3 dito, so he banks on it and he hits the headshot. That will be a 7-8 para sa Heroics. And again, that is that triple push doon sa second mid that really ginawa ng difference para sa laban nila dito.
Ayun nga, going in from bypass, I think alam na ni Jesril that there's gonna be a player watching that spot, so why not bring both of your teammates with you and get that free opener. At the same time, 3 very well-placed shots galing dito kay Ghosted on that sniper. And that's what I was saying, man. They put Ghosted in a position where he can just defend and no problem whatsoever. Pero Zolek, though, a bit reckless to go for vents this late dito sa round natin. Pero Silent gets 3 as X3D gets another one on the board. Sua at Cheloy na lang natitira, and they take down the important player na si Kara, pare. Jesril coming in from behind X3D from the stairs position. Cheloy na lang natitira. AK-47 and a dream para sa kanya dito. Jesril getting that last kill. 8-8. And it seems like Heroics, they finally figured out how to lock in dito sa game natin. And ayun nga, it seems like the score is equal and momentum's on their side.
Yeah. At ang ganda na din ng positioning din ni Ghosted. No? After he takes that first shot, he goes back para mas magiging even yung pagiging defense at yung hold doon sa may top position. Sa silent even picking up a free double para talaga nga namang hindi na nakataas yung Vengeance. You can also see that medyo nag-slow down na yung push nila dito. Kanina on that A-Vents push. Now we're back into an 8-8 even Steven. Both Vengeance and Heroics, a bit of a spray coming through para kay X3D, expecting the pecan or at least the lure coming down for at least one of the Vengeance players. He has in it. All that he has to do is try to bait it out, wait for any sort of given info na papunta sa kanya. Try to possibly play for that bait and switch setup no, na tinutulungan si Alrets na makakuha ng first opening pick-off. Maybe a counter from the triple push na ginawa nila dun sa second mid kanina.
Heroic with a lot more slower of a round, pero ganun pa rin ka-aggressive yung kanilang positioning dito. But Ghosted, I think he spotted a name. Dito sa may mini-tear, does take a go at it dito kay Suwa and loses almost all of his HP. Pero si Kara and Stelo looking for the active punish. But this might be the wrong spot at the wrong time. X3D, he has been in that tunnel sweep position time and time again, pare, pero hindi pa siya nakikita ng Vengeance. So it's a 4 versus 3 at the start of the round and they are scrambling para makakuha ng opening dito. Kara, oh my word, dying 3 rounds in a row, pare. 3 rounds in a row without a single kill. Now is not the time to not perform kung ikaw si Kara dito, pare.
Totoo, pre. Always the standout. Pero now medyo nagpa-falter na yung kanyang performance. Always good timings para kay X3D. Lineup was perfect. And with the perfect push from Azenit, you can actually expect itong si Jezreel sa RS. Clear na lang yung bawat corner dito bago makapag-plant ng bomb. Pero Jezreel drops the C4 right at the vicinity dito. Kaya nakapag-respond atento si X3D. Azenit also trying to get some damage done. Gets himself dito si X3D. Silent will also take the frag as well. So it's a 1v3 scenario. Si Alrets, 10 seconds, no time, and everybody just crunched on him towards his possession. It's Zolek picking up the last frag. It will be set point para sa Heroics at medyo nagiging smooth na yung comeback potential nila dito. Ngayon na isang round na lang at baka maibigay pa dito.
I don't feel good about this kung ako yung Vengeance. I've seen this time and time again sa mga tournaments nila, pare, where they're so close in beating etong team and then all of a sudden they just start losing rounds time and time again and it's not getting any better para sa kanila dito. Azenit though getting 2 from bypass. Not too bad of a start para sa kanila bin, and they know Ghosted is on the right side dito ng EA. They can go for the full punish but somehow, some way, nakalagpas pa nga siya dito sa room A and possibly into the top A position. Jezreel with the flank. Oh no. Oh no, this is very bad para sa Vengeance. They need to check behind them, pare, but they're too busy setting up. Alrets, Jezreel actually missing. Alrets gonna get taken down. Meron ng pressure na nanggagaling sa likod. Ghosted, seeing Jeloy push first. Nagkakagulo na dito sa Vengeance, pare. Pero Kara gonna try and save this. Silent takes him down. Spotted si Suwa. And Suwa is gonna go down. And I hate that I called it dito, Ramon. The Vengeance curse is still there of them having a hard time closing out games. And it seems like Heroic is gonna take full advantage dito, pare, with the win. 4 rounds in a row, hindi nakasagot dito yung Vengeance, pare.
Oo nga, on their map pick too. So the Ankar curse continues para sa Vengeance na ngayon, where Heroics are happy to take this and come at it with full colors talaga. Talagang kita mo. Kahit nung dun sa first 4 rounds na nakita natin sa kanila na nakuha nila from the second half, it really just was lights out from them. Triple pushes doon sa may second mid, and you can kind of see that Heroics really tried something desperate on time na yun, no? Na nung nabasa na siya agad ni Azenit, he actually did a wonderful job trying to hold down yung side of the map na yun, giving a lot of communications to team. Kaya you can kind of saw them at that very moment na ma-pull yung trigger on the flank. Jezreel, nice timing para din sa kanya, who really hasn't had a really good game nung nagtagal yung game natin, pero nung dumating siya dun sa last round, talaga nga namang nagkaroon ng impactful frag na nakuha niya dito yung sa mga players na nag-hold back with the utility. So Vengeance, I think nag-falter sila nung dumating sa time na mental na yung pinag-uusapan. I think nagsunod-sunod na yung mga rounds na medyo nahirapan na sila makapag-comeback dito. But still, good job para dito sa Heroics. We kind of saw a lot of their potential nung naging confident sa mga triple pushes at saka sa times na kinommunicate nila sa kung kailan sila makakapag-sandwich sa lahat ng mga plays nila dito.
Yeah, I was actually waiting. Galing dito sa Vengeance, no? Kasi napansin nila it has been a 3-man push or a 2-man push every single time dito sa bypass leading into mid na they didn't stack another player. Kasi gumagana naman talaga yung pag-antay nila sa loob ng base eh. Yung problema nga lang, in that last round, Jezreel got the god timing, Jeloy got taken down immediately, and then yeah, they just bounced back. And gusto ko yung hindi nag-overplay dito ng kamay si Jezreel. He knew na may advantage yung Vengeance dun sa round na yun in terms of the numbers. So we only got one. And feeling ko nagpanic yata yung Vengeance nung time na yun eh. Kasi bigla silang pumasok ng A site. All of a sudden nakapatay dito si Ghosted and it's a 2v3. So it's just pure panic siguro. Galing dito sa Vengeance going into that last round considering yung implications. So just like how I said it, matagal ko nang pinapanood to yung Vengeance man, not just in CFSPH, not just in CFS tournaments no, kundi sa mga ibang local tournaments as well. This has always been the problem para dito sa Vengeance pare, where they're so close in getting that win. Ang ganda na ng laro dito ni Kara Mensua, having his moments, si Aldret's having his moments as well, pero when it comes to that late game, that end game pare, it always just seems to escape them every single time pag kalaban nila yung mga teams kagaya nga ng Korea 7, kagaya nga ng Heroics dito who really knows how to play the game no, and have some veterans on their squad as well.
I think this is a story na kung ilan yung mga double kills yung nakakuha na sobrang impactful, di ba? Kasi we kind of saw a lot of that nung nagkakaroon ng maayos na defense, yung Heroics, nung nasa GR na sila. Tanda ko yung mga times na nagda-double kill tong si Silent, may mga times din nagkakaroon ng impactful double kill tong si Ghosted. I think they popped off dun sa mga pinakamaayos na moments. At dun nag-batter dahil if hindi nangyari yung mga moments na yun, then I feel like Vengeance could have had this na mas malinis. I think Kara would have been a little bit more consistent nung nagtagal yung game natin. Talagang tumaas nga yung performance na dito, pero nung dumating sa second half, siya na yung nagiging first pick-off, siya na yung nagiging first blood, either ni Ghosted o kaya yung mga pushes nila from that bypass. So we're kind of hoping that Vengeance can pick it up pagdating doon sa port map natin, which in all honesty, medyo hindi ako convinced if I'm being honest ngayon.
Well, fortunately para sa Vengeance na squad, it is a map pick ng Heroics dito. So, they do get to play that GR side first. And obviously, Aldret's not having too bad of a game. So, he's gonna be posted up dito sa top A. Honestly, not a bad look para dito sa Vengeance going into the map of Port. It really is just a question na can Kara perform the exact same way like he did sa Black Widow and dito sa Ankara, or is it gonna be a different look para sa mga ibang players? Are we gonna see something galing kay more galing dito kay Suwa, galing kay Azenit? We're just gonna have to wait and see, no? Pero with Aldret's and Kara performing dito sa Ankara, I would argue they would not have too bad of a time dito sa Port. Depende na lang talaga kung gaano ka-aggressive gusto maging ng Heroics dito pagdating sa kanilang BL on Port, kasi not much opportunities to do so, pero with the way that they hunt 5v4 sa start ng round, that kind of play, especially sa BL side ng Port, is actually perfect for them.
And you can also like kind of put a lot more emphasis din sa sniper matchups din natin dito. So, will Ghosted retain yung naging yung sa amin consistency, smooth yung performance niya. Hindi siya yung sobrang taas, hindi din siya yung sobrang mababa. Doing a good job, okay na din yun. But will he retain that laban sa mga snipers ng Vengeance? Usually, na-expect mo si Aldrich yung mag-pick up nun. Pero sometimes si Kara, nagpa-flex din siya with the sniper as well. And a big contribution to why nakakuha siya ng 31 kills on the Black Widow map is because of Kara picking up the sniper. We'll see kung yun din yung gagawin niya on that port map, since this is one of the sniper maps na meron dito for all the teams in the map pool, excuse me. So, we'll see how it goes doon sa matchup natin. I do like that Vengeance were trying to go back into that passive role. Pero yun din yung parang masabi nating madali ding basahin eh. You had a little bit of worry na baka makuha yun ng mga kalaban nila tapos ma-use that against them. And that literally just is what happened. So every time na may Heroics has a good game plan moving forward with how passive yung Vengeance were, they did a lot of the good things. A lot of good decisions has been made against that. So that game plan worked out at mukhang enough na yun para mapanalo dito ang Heroics.
Yeah, scary thing as well para dito sa Vengeance no, na may katapat na nga dito si Kara, and his name is Mr. Zolek on the other side. Granted, it's not the exact same output, na nakikita natin. Galing dito kay Kara having to do more work and getting more frags. Pero, you know, the way that Zolek plays yung game natin, the way he is so precise, so accurate gamit ang kanyang mga baril dito has been a thorn on the side para dito sa Vengeance. As we take a look at the set summary, of course, it is going to be a 10-8 with Ghosted, or actually si Zolek, once again leading the charge para sa kanyang team in terms of the fragging department. 18 AP with a 1.42 KD, 0.94 kill per round, headshot per kill. Pretty high dito sa stat sheet natin as well. So, yun nga, another very impressive game galing dito kay Zolek, pare. But we still gotta give credit kay Mr. Aldrets, who also performed very well on the sniper sa mapa na to.
Yeah, getting early first bloods para sa team niya, pero not enough para ma-close out nila yung kanilang naging BL half. So, makikita mo yung magiging mas mataas na difference nung lumaloy sila doon sa naging second half where nag-start na yung heroics on that BL. I like how Zolek works around his team, na hindi siya yung super aggressive pero siya yung parang nagtatawag ng magsasama sa kanya kung may gusto siyang plano na gawin no? Sometimes on that battery's defense, sometimes doon sa mga triple pushes nila, and you can count on him para maging pillar sa mga pushes at saka sa mga setups ng heroics so far. So it's a 10-8 win, and Vengeance are not gonna be happy with that. That's their map pick taken away. Pero medyo may doubts na nga tayo nung nagsimula yung Ankara para sa kanila as we head off into the MVP. Sa win ng Heroics kanina, it will be none other than Zolek himself. That is a 1.94 KD, very consistent, very solid. Pero what's interesting to me is that wala siyang pakialam kung saan tumama yung mga patay niya. Basta patay, okay na sa kanya as long as he does it a lot of times.
Oh yeah, for sure. Pero ayun nga, I really feel like there is gonna be something cooking, no, para dito sa Vengeance going into map number 2. So hopefully, we do see a lot more galing sa kanila dito. But I think this might be the time to go for a very short break. Pagbalik namin, it is gonna be port map pick dito ng Heroics. Is it gonna be a sweep or is it gonna be a reverse sweep? We're gonna have to find out right after this break.
At welcome back mga tropa sa CFS Impact Summer 2025. We're in week 3, day 1 para sa ating matchup between Heroics versus Vengeance. Ako po si Ramon, kasama ko si Sneaky Frog. It has been a do or die situation na ngayon para sa 0-1 scoreline para sa Vengeance, where they actually gave away their map pick dito. Ang Ankara papunta dito sa Heroics dahil sa kanilang napakaayos na mga setups at saka sa mga pushes nila all the way from second mid. Pero it is a different map story at baka naman baka iba yung mga kita nating kwento as we're walking in towards Port 10. Into your eyes, sa tingin mo ba wala na to para sa Vengeance, or tingin mo may palag pa sila ngayon?
I think may chance pa naman yung Vengeance dito. I think, assuming they did pick GR side first dito sa mapa na to, obviously they can build a really good lead and they can get some momentum going. If Kara, just like I said, if they can replicate yung exact same performance na nakita natin from his prior performances sa Ankara and sa Black Widow, then they're not gonna have too much of a problem, no, pagdating sa kanilang opensa dito. I think it's really just about map control and really reading ng tama yung depensa dito ng reading yung depensa dito ng Heroics maybe potentially, or ayun nga, maybe reading yung offense ng Heroics dito as ayun nga, they are gonna start on BL side first. Yeah, I mean, I really hope that they can prevent yung usual stuff from happening dito sa port map natin. I really think na Vengeance shouldn't give CA for free. They shouldn't give LB for free as well. So gusto ko makita ng a bit more bite siguro galing dito sa Vengeance, especially pagdating sa first few rounds dito ng port, just to get some early momentum going. Maybe something to just blindside, no, itong Heroics. Kasi no way kasi itong Heroics round number 1 pa lang, they're gonna do something very quick.
Yeah. And it's also kind of a problem that we're not seeing like yung mga usual na confident na maglalaro, hindi masyadong confident. You can see that Kara's getting picked off early, either from the sniper of Ghosted or dahil natatalo siya sa mga pushes, dahil ang ganda ng defense nga ng side na Heroics natin. Sometimes natatalo sa mga 1v1 si Azinit, although there are sometimes na naging clutch siya, hindi tumatama yung mga clutches na yun. No? So we're kind of expecting them to get a little bit more juice sa nagiging laro natin so far. Maybe Port will be a different story since they're going to be starting on the GR side now. Do you think it will be a close game? Kasi feeling ko talaga basta ma-unlock yung mga players na to. Like, thinking yung kapag on form yung lahat ng players natin, I think this has potential to go OT. Pero do you think I'm going a bit too far with that?
Could be a close game, pare, depending on how the first half goes. In all honesty, yun nga, I assume that it is going to be a close game considering na yun nga, it's all about how that second half folds out na para sa mga teams natin. If Vengeance has a really good defensive first half, maybe end up in a score of 7-2. And yun nga, no, onti na lang yung leeway bago sila makakuha ng panalo dito. But just like how I said it, if they go back to their old ways, having a hard time trying to close out yung ibang mga rounds natin and just the game in general, no, pare, doesn't really give me much faith. Yun nga, Vengeance can definitely keep it close, pero problema nga lang, can they close out yung port map? That's just where it is right now, pare.
And I think they're coming into this with the mindset of improving then, kasi the last time that they played port so far dito sa Impact Summer, it was against Sunday Shrooms and they kind of got smoked with how well of a sniper then yung player nila on Sunday Shrooms. So it's either gonna be a way for them to try to change the setup or maybe just trust themselves that the setups that they've had dun sa Sunday Shrooms actually still work. If I remember correctly, they're very reliant dun sa mga bridge setups nila, and they're very reactive when it comes to how they hold yung curve position natin if they are actually going through that bridge. Very minimal yung mga nakikita ko mistakes on the retake. So we'll see how it goes para sa Vengeance if they are gonna be doing well against Heroics, who have already had a solid foundation. So pag-start nila dito sa map natin, although it's not the best of starts sa season, it's something to work with at least as we go on into our port map. Vengeance gonna start on Global Risk habang ang Heroics naman ang magsaset ng tempo natin. It's a 5-man push papunta dito sa may LB. As they're walking into the horde, it says as if the first jello, but a second look at the run and gun coming through. Pero yun nga lang, Heroics are down for the count, and it will be a 3 versus 2 where Vengeance are happy with the numbers advantage.
Yeah, I told you they were gonna go for something fast, but not checking Z at all is a very interesting way of going dito sa LB natin for sure. Pero Jestriel finding a position dito sa mid, cutting off Z potentially. Pero may hit na ba dito si Kara? Jestriel getting the better of Kara actually. And all of a sudden 2v2, walang access whatsoever itong Vengeance papunta nga dito sa A site natin. And Ghosted actually in the right place at the right time. I would have wished na si Jestriel actually may hawak ng C4 dito just to get the plant going. Pero Ghosted just trying to make sure na it's not gonna give anything for free. No, anything that they can get dito sa 2v2 na to is already a bonus para sa kanila dito. Pero Ghosted finally will get the C4 down. Vengeance playing it extra safe, no, and I can't really blame them.
Talaga. An inch will go for a very quick mile. At sa Tagalog, ang ibig sabihin nun ay kapag binigyan mo ng isa, ay baka maging 10 pa yung makukuha. So, plant coming down. Vengeance gonna play this with the numbers na meron sa kanila dito. So, 2v2. Gandang-ganda talaga ng third-person camera na to, no? Para ma-highlight kung gaano kalayo yung kailangan lakbayin ng Suwa at saka ni Alreds para sa Vengeance. They exchange nades. Try niyang labanan yung top player. They do kill off tong si Suwa. So, 1v1 na. Kasama to si Alreds. Spotted. Seeing him doon sa corner natin. Alreds gonna try to spray him down. Hindi pa enough para mapatay na yung nag-iisang player. They're just gonna play around the time. 12 seconds. Not enough. And it's the Cult gonna be able to kill him off with the first frag. It will be a 1-0 para sa Heroics natin.
And yeah, that was probably one of the more important rounds, no? Pagdating sa mapa ng port, there's always that first round that will set the pace for the rest of this game. Ghosted, good 3K, and a good 2K para dito kay Jestriel. Jestriel, especially yung pick-off na yun dito kay Zolek, man, really just forced every single member dito ng Vengeance to play the B-side of the map. And in that 3-take, pare, I like that Jestriel kinda threw his life away, pero Ghosted did get that quick trade and very, very well played dun sa 1v1, pare. Making sure na it's not gonna be free. I mean, Colt agad yung hinawakan na doon. He's very aware na low na agad yung last player. But let's see if they can keep the momentum going. Ghosted very, very forward pagdating sa mapa natin dito. And Vengeance actually staying a bit back dito sa game natin.
Slow crawling with the AWM. Talagang alam na yung ginagawa niya dito, no? As Heroics are gonna try their hand at going at it's a B-site push na naman. LB full control. The house also crawling with so many dito sa mga Heroic players natin, as it's gonna be Jeloy. It's a tall box. Kasama na din to agad dong si Azanit. That will be the double setup for the defense. Ghosted gonna be able to get first contact. Flash coming through. Perfect at the right time, pero it will be a blinded shot. Zolek with the entry as Vengeance are doing their best para mahold yung B-site natin, as it will be a 2-for-1. Silent down. And Azanit gonna peek on with the spray. Catching on to two people, Zed and Ghosted. Gonna be able to get that 3 versus 1, and Zolek down with a triple kill para kay Azenit. It's Vengeance with a strong back on into the round.
And I'm actually surprised na Zolek didn't call si Azenit dun sa kanyang corner position as he's already gotten shot. He probably assumed na nanggaling yata sa curve player baka bala dito. But Vengeance, man, with a very, very nice retake. Very patient galing dito kay Azenit. You know, granted namatay ang kanyang teammate on the site. He just waited for his team to help him in that position here. Kara, first peek, expecting the flash galing kay Jezreel, pero XGD still would get a trade. And, I mean, a 4v4 with Kara already out to start ng round. I would reckon Heroic has the advantage here, man.
Yeah. At the same time, at least hindi lang naman Kara show to. Like, we kind of expect that of him. So, at least the riflers are still gonna have the brunt of the work. Pero at the very least, that will be CA control that you also kind of highlighted nung we're going into this game. It's very important para split into that long A as in it's gonna let X3D actually have free entry. Well, it's also interesting na wala pa sa kanilang bomba. They already have house control. So it's a question of kung magko-commit nga ba dito sa side na yun. They're just waiting for Silent to pick up the bomb para makapasok sila dun sa may B. Or if the initial execute doesn't work out, they're just gonna rotate and possibly play for X3D's position to actually catch off the rotation. It might be both at this point in time. As in it, I think spots the shoulder. X3D has to be careful. It has to be the pick onto him. As Azenit's gonna get taken down immediately. Silent gonna pick up first, but Jello and Sua, they answer back with their own frags into a 2v2. B-site already in full control of Heroics because of this execute. Kaya si Jello at si Alrets kailangan mag-respond. At pero, inuuna na sila ng bala, inuuna na sila ng utility. Zolek to get that first in the post plat. Will be that 1 versus 2. Pero Alrets sprayed on through the smoke. At hindi na binigyan ng chance para mag-retake with this 2-1 win.
Yeah, I mean, Heroic pulled that play straight out of 2019, pare. The two-man split, papunta nga dito sa ilalim ng bridge to distract yung RS players at napa-rotate yung dalawang players na nakabaon dito sa B-site just to try and help the team to defend itong mid, no? But in that distraction, pare, pumasok yung dalawang B-side players. So, very impressive display dito ng macro gameplay from the homies over at Heroics as Ghosted gets immediately taken down dito ni Alrets. Pero Kara, looking to see if he can spot anything dito sa loob ng site. Spotted nga siya sa ilalim dito ng hagdan, pero Zolek trying to come in. Suwa on that bridge position. Nades are being thrown. Alrets focused dito sa may ladder position natin. Suwa taken down sa may bodega position, but he takes Jezreel down with him. Pero Alrets hindi pa rin matinag dito sa top A. Silent X3D getting 2 of their own as well. Pero alam nila na nasa top A pa si Alrets, Azenit, and Alrets getting the last 2 players. It's a pure fist fight dito sa A site as we go 2 and 2. I mean, it's a back and forth, which is good on any other map dito, Chris. But we're talking about in the context of port. Pag nag 5-4 to for Heroic, yun nga, the doubts start para dito sa VNG, pare.
Totoo, man. I mean, full commitment yung parehong kupunan para sa pag-hold ng ground nila. The LA push for Heroics, the ladder control na ginagawa sana ng isang mga players on them. But you gotta see the same commitment coming through as well. As Kara's gonna get surprised by the shot. Ghosted comes out of the smoke and snipes down Kara where she stands. That will be Jelloy. Wide peak. But X3D will expect that. Ghosted with another. Heroics doing everything that they can to commit to the fight. Pero Vengeance trying to bite back with as much as damage as possible. Pero still 2v4. And into the B site they go para sa BL push nila.
Yeah, people really are forgetting how good Ghosted is on that sniper. Sometimes, but he has been internationally tested. Granted, it did not work. It's still internationally tested, pare. Pero as in it, will get taken down. Good wall bang galing dito kay X3D, pare, with the 125cc peak. Not gonna be enough against dito kay Alrets. 2 turns into 1 pa na dito sa Heroic as iikot na lang na malayuan dito si Alrets. 35 seconds left. I like the positioning from Silent, though. Na, yeah, he's not gonna commit to the jump down all the way. Just weighing out his options. Meron siyang God Box. Meron siyang HP dito to try and see if he can get that one going. Pero Alrets, good position. Pag nag-check si Silent at the wrong place at the wrong time, he will see a glimpse dito ni Alrets actually. 13 seconds worth of distraction is all he needs to do. And hindi niya kailangan mag-overextend. And Alrets put in a very uncomfortable position. That slight jump down na ginawa ni Silent, seeing a glimpse of Alrets dito sa site, and he just knew na 10 seconds na lang. Why would I have to fight this fully? I'm gonna just put him in a bad spot.
Daming pros din no? Compared sa cons na pwede niyang gawin sa position na yon. He's prepared for an off angle if galing nga dun sa may GR spawn. Pero meron din siyang magandang timing no? Talagang going in and out of the peak, knowing where the last player is gonna be coming from. So put in a safe spot. That will be a 3-2 para sa Heroics on their BL side now. I do not like how close it is, but you can definitely see how really well placed yung making confidence ng Heroics as they start off back into this lead. Vengeance now put in a 3-1-1, 3-1-2 split up. 1-2 split up actually para magkaroon sila ng stable defense all across the map. Already have Z control. LB already secured. Kasama tong si Zolek. So this God box position from Jello is gonna get tested in a matter of seconds kung dito nga sila manggagaling, but it will be a 3-2 split up. Will Vengeance expect this kind of push coming through from Heroics?
I just want to know, pare, if Vengeance has more than one default sa kanilang GR side on this map. But it is what it is. Suwa spotted dito sa RS and F it, man. Two-man curve. Yo! Suwa, where's the call, pare? Oh my God! Yun lang, I stopped casting and started flaming, pare, in that very moment. Oh my God, Suwa. Suwa, you got to tell Azenit na meron ng tao dito sa curve, pare. Like, that's on you, bud.
Nako po. Nag-disconnect ata sa Discord, boss. Yun ang mahirap sa nangyayari.
I turned into Azenit for a second there, pare. Pero let's see. 20 seconds left. Alred, Skara. Last two left alive. Not much you can do. That's the classic bait. Second player dies as well. I mean, Dex. Medyo nasayang yung kanyang pain dito. Pero para kay Silent, is just gonna be sealing those two kills. A slight miscommunication, pare. Making the round break apart.
That's not how you want the round to go. But yeah, I gotta see that Heroics actually had a good game plan moving forward there. Instead of the usual mid-peak na ginagawa nila from that underbridge spot, they decide na i-cross na lang dun sa may curve. Nagulat agad yung isa mga nag-hold pa lang on the long angle. And that kind of actually dismantled the defense on Vengeance. They even disrupted your rotation timing because of the same position. So yeah, just sort of all around a good push from Heroics.
Alam na nila kung saan nakatayo dun si Azenit. Azenit is doing yung the jump peaks sa ilalim ng B site. Obviously, you spot that immediately pag labas mo ng curve. So, yun nga, that's why it was Suho's responsibility as yung RS player or exit player natin dito who's just jiggling. Kahit slight information lang, just scream, okay, nakadaan na sila sa curve. Azenit, like, do something, maybe makaka-react pa si Azenit at that time. Pero, yun nga, Heroic about their surprise game dito, pare. X3D missing the ninja. Says F it. 3-man push dito sa mid. Suwa now on the left side. Ghosted, taking him down. Pero X3D siya pa kayo matadamay dito. Jesril finally getting the trade frag. Jesril getting 2! Yun lang, and he might get 3. Nope. Aldets will take it down. Gara, can he get the 2K? Yes, he can. Overall, solid defense. Walang butas naman that time para dito sa Vengeance. 4-3. Let's see, man. I mean, 2 points straight. That's what I hope para dito sa Vengeance.
Yeah. And naging matawa na si Suwa as he now forgiven for his mistake with Jesril. Back on the jumping shot, even killing off tong si Kara, who really was willing to take the fight over towards that mid position. Pero kita mo sa problem, parang previous round, everybody just had like mistakes from all the previous rounds that we've had. Tapos they were all fixed by just one round that we've had. Suwa with that double kill. Tapos everything just fell apart after Azenit and Kara also got a bit more confidence sa mga duels sila dito. So maybe, as you said, it could be 2 rounds straight, but with Kara taken down agad, baka mas mahirapan sila dito on the defense. So they're kind of back into a 1-1-2 setup. They're all watching down that mid side. At least one holding up the extremity dun sa side na mapa natin, as Heroic are gonna have free LB control. House already controlled by them as well. And with the C4 also within their vicinity, Jella is not gonna have the best of times. Lalo na if na-flash siya dito sa tall box natin. We'll see how it goes. Flash on in, smoke on down as well. And Jeloy tried to spray on blindly. Gets one. Very lucky to get one at least with Silent. Does get the trade-off eventually para maka-entry ng site. Azenit with a double kill galing sa kanya. Napaka-init ng response for Vengeance as they're walking into the push on from Heroics, as it will be Alrets and Suwa to equalize the numbers 4-4 for Vengeance.
Yeah, that's what the sunk down defense looks like pagdating dito sa B-side, no? Just the jump peeking galing dito kay Azenit and just waiting for the rest of the team to come and rotate Papunta nga dito sa ilalim as Heroic just try to take it over. Pero Zolek, another opening para sa kanya dito. He gets the double kill.
Oh!
I mean, can you back up against all 5 players dito, pare? Sua trying to contain whoever is inside of the B site. Inside lang, hindi niya pwede papababain ng basta-basta dito, pare. And Alrets, oh, Sua will get itong si Ghosted. Hold on, wait a minute. Pero hindi nila in-expect si Silent na nasa likod. But then, Heroic in an instant, pare. They're just like, F it, man. Let's just push. It's like, 5 is more than 3.
Tama ka dyan, Sneaky. Talagang back to the basics na nga for Heroics. They have been aggressive all throughout. They started yung series natin and they go back to their bread and butter nung masyado nang nagiging close yung mga rounds. It's a 5-4 split up. But this is what you said, no? Parang hindi ito ideal para ma-start ito for the Heroic side. The Vengeance, I think now that the side of Swap, mukhang medyo mahihirapan na sila dito. Now they start on BL, they have a 2-1-2 setup. Usually the type of team that really is gonna let their opponent just throw their utility at them, no?
Pero feeling ko gagawin dito ng Heroics, they're probably just gonna, you know, smoke start of the round. Obviously, HEs are gonna be very important. Pero isa-save nila yung mga flashes nila just in case that there is gonna be any side takes happening. Pero tamang passive play lang muna galing dito sa Vengeance. I think they're expecting maybe another fast play galing dito sa Heroics, but they decided to do something different this time. And ayun nga, I think para sa Heroics, they're just letting the map advantages play itself para sa kanila dito. Pero Silent, very precarious position para sa kanila dito. Alrets staring straight at exit dito. Inches away from the gun of Silent. Pero hindi na nila i-investigate, no? They actually want to go dito sa mid area natin. Kara is gonna see that Silent is actually sitting right here. Pero Kara's gonna get taken down. No wallbangs? No wallbangs from the other players. Nako po.
No?
I mean, that was a very vulnerable position para kay Silent. And, I don't know, they decide to hide information. Pero nag-cross siya ng mid. Sees 2. I mean, obviously, there's still presence sa mid. Vengeance, 48 seconds left. They got nothing done dito sa mapa natin. The past a minute and 30, pare.
Yeah, no Z control at all. And they didn't even try for the trade at all. So push on in from that LA position na I believe is gonna be a desperate attempt galing from them. Talaga nga namang hinahayaan na lang to get them that one for nothing as they now walk into the Hornet's Nest. It's gonna be the long shot from Ghosted, but it will be a blind shot yet again. Sua gonna start off well para sa Heroics. Well, actually for Sua this time around, Vengeance are gonna have a beautiful time to try to rotate back in towards the A side as well. Silent drops, he gets a double kill coming through with that AK. Called out, mukhang mapapatay pa nga nila lahat ng pumasok dito sa may A side. That will be a Heroics retake. That will be a 6th round for them.
Now, that is the risk of playing exactly like that, no? Na mag-aantay ka sa start ng round. Obviously, Heroics the type of team to make some early round plays, no? But then at the same time, what if hindi nag-push yung Heroics? Then you're just stuck. Like, oh, nawalan na kami ng player. Oh, damn. Like, I guess we have to go to A side, guys. Wala tayong control sa LB whatsoever. But then, you're just playing into Heroics' hands. They know na papunta kayo ng A side at that very time. So, it's not really much of a hard read para sa kanila dito. Ghosted, yun nga, trying to relive or at least regain yung kanyang composure after getting absolutely wrecked sa top A in that last round. Pero Ghosted will get taken out by Alrets dito, pare. So, 4 versus 4. Both snipers gone. Pero si Alrets will actually pick it up. Or no, Alrets or Sua para dito kay Ghosted. So, it's not actually a good trade para kay Heroics. Losing that top A position. X3D, I think he should pick up yung sniper sa top A. Jezreel capable as well. Oh yeah, another 8 take.
Yeah. Para they can just keep throwing bodies sa kapag dating doon sa main like scenarios. But we'll see as Jeloy starts off with that LA push. They also had CA control. Now Kara gives it up. So a full commitment laban dito kay Jezreel and he's handled beautifully. Galing dito sa pag-entry ni Kara. Spotted by Zolek and everybody from that RS spawn. But Zolek, what a beautiful nade. Kara down. 3v3. Smoke on down para sa pag-entry. And Heroics, you're gonna surprise them kasi Zolek's not hitting the shot. Run and gun. One tap papunta kay Jeloy. And it will be X3D to claim it into a 1 versus 1. Pero what will Alrets do? Does not hit the shot. Called out and it's
he's done it again.
X3D. What a re-entry coming through for Heroics as it will be 7-4 para sa kanilang GR.
Yun lang, X3D with a patented flying Colt. drop down, pare. He's already done it last week. He's doing it this week as well. 7-4 Heroics. Now taking full advantage ng kanilang paiging GR side dito sa mapa na to. And just like how we said it, man, if you're playing very, very passive in this map but also not actively slowly taking map control dito, pare, you are gonna get stuck. Pero Zolek, expecting itong si Jeloy on the left side. Missing an entire spray but gets the headshot anyways, pare. Zolek trying to go for more pero mapapabalik na lang sila dito knowing na half HP na lang siya. But it was all a bait for Ghosted to take out itong si Suwa. Grabe, hook, line, and sinker para dito sa Heroics, para getting those first 2 picks.
Bait for the trade, pero yung nag-greet sa kanya is an shot from Ghosted. Beautifully done para sa Heroics. That double, triple setup na ginawa nila doon sa may LB. Sumo and Jello were not prepared at all. 3 versus 5. And again, back into their passive setup where they're not actively gaining some map control. Heroics doing exactly that para makontrol nila yung bawat na pwedeng maging option ng Vengeance on their BL. And wasting a lot of time as well. Heroics really just doing a lot of their homework. Really well done dito.
Yeah, I really feel the pain of Sikara dito of trying to play this map aggressively, no? Kasi, and yeah, I also don't do well on port considering yung style ko rin is face on fight. Try to shoot as much as possible dito, pare. But, in a map like port, it's tough to do so kasi daming angles na kailangan mong isipin as well. But they do get si Zolek. That's a good start. But they are in a 3v4, pare, and they need to guess which site has a lot less people. Pero yung positioning kasi dito ni Silent at ni Ghosted, basta may mag-ingay dito sa B site, that's gonna be a very quick rotation, pare. And I feel like someone made the noise. Someone made the noise! Yun lang. Vengeance, maybe someone mistapped yung kanilang tapwalk dito or someone didn't crouch as soon as they fell. Ghosted will get itong si Kara Azarit up next. Headshot to X3D. Alret's gonna get taken down as well. 8-4. Ayun nga. Vengeance, they're playing a bit too scared for my liking dito sa BL side.
Totoo, Ben. And it's also like a good rotation timing then, no, from Heroics. I think their communication is on point. I think they really did hear yung sound ko na yun. It kind of fell apart nung pagkatapos nila mag-ingay dun sa house, nakaset up na ng long shot tong si Ghosted. And Ghosted has been improving all throughout the series, man. We already know that how good he is on the sniper. Kahit nung first map natin, he's not as up there as Alretz when it comes to the first bloods. But he gets yung kills na mga napaka-importante, no? So it kind of does a lot for your team. Especially now that he's activated ngayon very late into the sport map.
Yun nga. First CA play I've seen galing sa Vengeance actually this entire time. But Kara ends up lower HP in that fight actually against dito kay Jessel. Yes, nakuha nila yung CA position pero low na si Kara sa start ng round. Ayun nga, a stray nade towards his direction, pare, can definitely take him out. Pero at least na-clear nila yung CA. And di ba confirm dito na Heroics whether or not it is gonna be an A split. And ayun nga, Vengeance, they're still waiting. And I don't like it. I don't like it, pare, kasi ayun nga, you have this split-second window bago makareact dito yung Heroics sa ginagawa niya dito sa A site. Pero tignan mo yung position ni Silent dito, no? He is very near mid. He can actually climb up all the way into CA dito, para Ghosted. He's gonna flash himself. Does dodge it in time, para Ghosted. Does not get the first one. Jezreel, nandito pa sa hagdan. X3D will get itong si Jeloy. Jezreel still somehow live and alive dito sa game natin. Pero hindi nila in-expect yung flank ni Silent from CA!
Oh!
And 9-4 is the scoreline, pare. I mean, I was looking at the minimap and nakikita ko na I'm like, Silent's already on CA, pare. This is a disaster waiting to happen para sa Vengeance.
Yeah, even I was also kind of expecting it then, though. He was already like thinking to himself, now what if I flag everything right now? And Heroics, I just want to get this map done. Mukhang may dinner sila pakatapos nito. May kakainin pa sila. At mukhang gusto nila matapos to as soon as possible. May lakad pa yung mga Heroic players natin. And they already got a 2-for-1 special.
They got a celebration with R7. Most likely.
Sama-sama na eh. No?
So,
alam na yung call time. 7 p.m. daw. 7 p.m.
7 p.m. call time. They got 4 minutes. Oh, they got 8 minutes. I forgot na ahead pala yung oras ko dito sa BC. Pero Jeloy, yeah, I think he's had enough. I think Jeloy had enough, pare. I think it might be time to call it kung kayo yung Vengeance ito. It's been a good game para kay Azenit. It's been a good game para dito kay Suwa, pare. But It's a tough map to play, no? Especially pag 5-4 yung score nyo, and Heroics, they do know how to play this map, pare. So, it's not unfamiliar territory para sa kanila dito. Silent gets the headshot dito kay Suwa. Aldrets na lang natitira. It's been a nice time, bud. But it is the end of the series, and it is a sweep. Told you guys, it is gonna be a sweep. And Heroics, they win itong set number 2 natin. I mean, di sila nagkulang sa series, pare. It's just a bit of an accident happening siguro dito sa Ankara na nakahabol pa na onti dito yung Vengeance, but then they locked in pagdating dito sa map number 2.
Salamat sa pagpasok dito, no, Vengeance. Parang nung nagtagal, I think Ankara was kind of a good map to kind of start with Sana if they actually got locked in coming into this. Pero I guess when Heroics got really hot, they got really, really hot. Kaya medyo nahirapan na nga sila. You kind of saw Zolek be top fragging for both of the games, and hindi din nag-help para sa side ng Vengeance na medyo nakukulangan sila when it comes to the communication. And as you mentioned, hindi siguro din sila nagtatry ng anything different, anything aggressive. Especially nung nag-start sila dun sa BL, they were playing around the time a little bit too much. And parang ang bilisan ng punish eh. You gotta see that those setups were getting disrupted by Silent being a bit more passive in his approach, by everybody playing the reactive game. When they hear one sound cue, nasa tamang position lang sila lagi. So for Heroics on their GR, I think they've done amazingly on their job right here. But the fact that the map got really close, para sigurong hindi din nag-help para sa Vengeance para makapag-start ng kahit ano.
Yeah, the fact na yung inexperience ng Vengeance as well going into the port map didn't really help their case dito sa series na to. Ayun nga, they got Vengeanced, as we do like to say, dito sa map number 1 and map number 2. Ayun nga, first half, I wouldn't argue it was good para dito sa Vengeance, considering they did get a 1-point deficit before nag-turn yung half, no? So there's still a lot to improve para dito sa team. I think a lot more layers I would like to see para dito sa Vengeance, pare. I mean, yung default nila was kind of the exact same thing for most of the rounds. Slight lang yung kanilang adjustment siguro pagdating dito sa kanilang GR side. And I really don't like it, no? Yung pag nagkakaroon ng mode yung mga teams dito. Granted, okay lang mag-hold, no? Holding, it's a pretty good thing to do, especially kung kalaban nyo ay sobrang aggressive. But then, you have to hold with a goal in mind, pare, na okay, after this certain time, anong gagawin natin dito? Titake ba natin yung LB? Titake ba natin dito yung CA as a squad? Or are we gonna take LA, no? Kailangan naka-decide na kayo bago pa kayo gumawa ng hold play, bago kayo, before you wait patiently for the enemy team to peek into you, pare. So I feel like there was a lack of that para dito sa Vengeance, unfortunately. So ayun nga, it's just Heroics being the better team at the end of the day, pare. They got too much experience, too much skill on the squadron para ayun nga, no, to be shaken very easily dito sa series natin.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna flash the highlights here just to kind of show you what has been going on all throughout. Kasi feeling ko I don't feel a lot of disappointment. I think there's a lot of I'm very impressed with how Heroics have actually performed dito. Nakita mo may mga times na hindi lang consistent yung hinaharap natin eh. Talagang steady yung naging performance ng mga Ripers dito. And when a team that usually likes to play aggressive goes steady, talagang it's not gonna be a good time sa kanilang kalaban eh, no? When it comes to this, lalo na sa Heroics that are usually known to be an aggressive team, but Heroics also know when to be aggressive, when to not be. Kaya di din surprising para sa akin na they got the ball rolling nung talagang nagsimula sila doon sa GR side nila. They got really good ideas. Yung double push up doon sa pag-split up nila from that mid side, as well as yung B, yung mga times na kina-counter din nila, yung mga slow pushes ng Vengeance by literally not doing anything. A lot of good points, pero normally points that you'd see a team that usually wants to perform really well on. Vengeance though, it's a tough day at the office, man. Maybe it's just not their thing yet.
Yeah, for sure. Could be a band aid para dito sa Vengeance. So I've seen them at their peak, pare, capable of beating teams like itong Sunday Shrooms, but I've really seen them at the bottom of the barrel dito sa mga ibang tournaments natin. No? It's that inconsistency that really makes Vengeance fun to watch, but painful to watch at the same time sa mga ibang mga games natin. So hopefully we do see the better version of themselves going into yung kanilang next week's matchup, which is gonna be XPT. I would argue they have a pretty good shot actually dun sa series na yun up against itong XP2, who hasn't also had the best time dito sa Impact natin. So yun nga, fortunately para dito sa Vengeance, they might be able to stack a win there and hopefully a 2-0 no, para lang babawi yung nangyari dito today.
No, tama ka naman, no? And then maybe a time to reset din para sa mga players natin dito who really have the performance or at least like the potential to have a good performance moving forward then, no? We kind of saw glimpses of that coming through from Kara nung nag-start tayo in on Kara. But by the end of it, parang hindi na din siya nagkaroon ng mataas din na showing. Kaya I think it's about time that they see a lot more coming through from the other players from Vengeance. We did see a lot more play coming through from Azenit. And a lot of times that he had good flanks, good clutches. Alret's also picking up so many of those good head-to-heads with the sniper. But at the end of the day, what matters is how well you did all throughout the map, all throughout the set. And so far, dito support map natin, I think it's safe to say that the right players were activated nung nasa Heroic sila.
Yep. And ayun nga, Silent with a 1.63 KD, 0.93 kill per round. Silent's always been a very, very good port player, honestly. And din nga, is multifaceted na playstyle. No, he can play passive, he can play aggressive, you can play him in whatever spot you want dito sa map, and he's gonna produce for sure. Compliments to Zolek as well. Has been having a hell of a series, and just like how I said it, no, it was a test whether or not, it is a Zolek versus Kara matchup, and ayun nga, I kind of called it na Kara would have a slightly harder time dito sa port kasi ayun nga, entries don't really have the best time dito sa mapa na to. Kid from Hell would know as well. So, ayun nga, a very, very nice attempt galing sa kanila dito. Alret's had a very, very good series as well, as in it with a good showing dito sa port. Not too much dun sa Ankara, pare. And ayun nga, I mean, overall, just a very, very good series para dito sa Heroics. I mean, 4 of your players worked out. Jesriel, I mean, he had his spots as well dito sa series natin. And yeah, they just got overwhelmed 2-0, man.
You think it was a combination of yung mental nila moving forward, or maybe it was a map veto? I don't know. Kasi feeling ko it could be a lot more than just the logistics of the whole game. But ito nga, match result, and I think it's also a good time for me to like point that question at you nga. Kung do you think it's a map veto difference, or do you feel like it's less about that and more about Vengeance's mood coming into the day?
Not having Black Widow is a big, big loss para sa Vengeance. In all honesty, I really feel like this would be a different score, a different kwento siguro. Pwede natin tawagin na pag nandito yung Black Widow, we would see at least one map going in the way of Vengeance. But without that map, of course, hindi sila komportable. Granted, Ankara was very, very close, no? But then, the last 4 rounds happened and it swung back in the way dito ng Heroics. Para naman sa port, it's a lot more than we expected in the maps where Heroics, once that half turned and obviously score, it is to their advantage and galing pa sila sa BL side. I just knew na it was over at that point.
Man. At that point, talagang wala nang naipalag ang Vengeance coming through towards the matchup. But I think it's safe to say na this week is not the best for them, but maybe in the next coming weeks, it's gonna be a different story. Pero para sa Heroics naman, it's time for celebration dahil ang MVP nila is none other than Zolek yet again. It is a 1.33 KD, 0.63, medyo naging I'd say compared sa last game na, it's not the highest that we'd seen, but the fact that he did this ng sunod-sunod na games is just telling of how good of a player Zolek is.
Zolek, obviously, I mean, this is what we expect. Galing sa kanya dito, his output has been absolutely insane for the past few times. And nakala ko talaga na he is gonna have a downturn considering na hindi AGT yung kalaban nila this time. But it seems like I was wrong. I mean, Zolek producing the exact same, still just as aggressive, still just as deadly, no? So, yeah, props to Zolek, man. He has been one of the breakout players dito sa Impact kasi we already know who the rest of the team is para dito sa Heroics, but hey, Zolek, all I'm saying is you could get picked up by one of the bigger orgs dito sa Pilipinas pare if you keep playing like this sa Impact. But I hope you keep it consistent, man. I hope he keeps it consistent and gets opportunities to do so pare kasi hey, this kid is very, very good. Or I hope it's a kid when I called him a kid pare. Malay mo it's a full-grown adult pala pare.
Whether or not he is yung talent na hindi natin madedenay talaga, diba? Yung lakas niya dito sa buong series natin na hindi talaga natin madedenay at naipakita niya dahil doon sa pananala against Vengeance. So congratulations sa Heroics. Makikita natin sila mag-improve up in the standings later on. Pero yun nga, no? I think it's very important that we also gotta talk about the games for tomorrow as well dahil 2 days tayong Impact Summer, ladies and gentlemen. Tapos na yung day 1 natin and it's been a banger of a set of games so far. I think it was Rhea 7 winning out yung game nila against AGT, if I'm not mistaken. That was a 2-0. And I think 2-0 for Heroics as well. It's not what I expected. It was against yung naging prediction ko so far. But I'm happy to see a lot of good teams and players perform consistently on the server.
Yeah, for sure. I think in the first series especially, didn't expect that much of a fight dito sa AGT. But then, yun nga, they kind of fought back dito sa map number 2, Rio having his moments as well. But yun nga, at the end of the day, it's still Ria 7 pare. Similar nga dito sa Heroics, they're just a better team going into yung series. And that's why I was saying kanina actually dun sa broadcast namin ni Salvatore that I would actually would like to see yung Heroics versus R7 matchup, fully knowing yung implications ng dalawang teams, fully knowing na how well the teams actually know each other dito pare and how they come up with creative ways to actually beat them or beat each other dito sa possible na series na makikita natin, which I assume is June 18 first series. So, ayun nga, maybe Heroics, they got some moves over their homies pare at the R7 side, or maybe the opposite could be true here as well. Pero, ayun nga, props to them, man. Still 2-0 at the end of the day. I don't know how far it boosts them yata dito sa leaderboard. Most likely, it is a number 4, number 3 placing para sa kanila, which is very, very good, no? Kasi, ayun nga, Heroics, they have been hanging around that number 5 spot for a while there. So, at least meron na silang onti security dito, pare.
Yeah, and because of this 2-0, that also kind of influences where Sunday Shrooms is also going to be, whether or not they got knocked down a peg or maybe retain the same result. Pero medyo naging hindi malapit yung naging game natin dun sa second map. So that's probably going to be yung tiebreaker if ever. We're going to look into it pagdating dun sa mga matchups natin. Don't forget na may head-to-head din ang Heroics and versus Sunday Shrooms. So that's also something to consider as we look into yung team standings natin. Malalaman natin kung sino yung top 3, top 4. There you go, Sunday Shrooms still on top 3. Heroics also gonna be on top 4 right now. I don't think the standings actually change that much except for solidifying yung place ng Rio 7 Ermita, which is gonna be the best team right now in the Impact League. So
yeah, but yun nga, no, we haven't seen Sunday Shrooms in matches still play their third map dito pare, so that could change very quickly as tomorrow's games they do involve some of the top 4 teams. And speaking of the top 4 teams, there's 2 top 4 teams actually going up against tomorrow, pare, which is that MJ versus SS matchup, and we do have the AL versus XPT, also Sovereign versus Cypher Pro team. 2 very evenly matched na matches actually that we have tomorrow. Pero this is what I imagined the Impact standings were gonna look like sa start ng tournament natin. Obviously not expecting yung R7 to be, first, no? I was actually expecting itong MJ Sunday Shrooms to be first and second, pare. But obviously, Ria 7 on a very, very good run so far dito sa Impact. And judging from their opponents, it's been pretty good para sa kanila so far. They have faced XPT, All Sovereign at itong AGT, no? So, let's see what actually happens pag may nakalaban ng top 3 itong R7 dito, which is gonna be their next matchup, pare, going into the next match week, which is Sunday Shrooms versus R7, which I'm personally looking forward to, pare.
Medyo maganda nga no? As we're now gonna be talking about yung susunod nga no? So yung exciting matchup din sabi mo, all matches solidify yung place nila against Sunday Shrooms, who have been trying their best to try to get themselves back up ulit. I do believe that we had a conversation between kung sino yung top 1, top 2. We had two of these teams in mind, but now they have a chance to actually get themselves higher back into the standings to kind of also put a statement sa kabilang team. Well, whereas we have the second matchup, we have All Sovereign versus Hyper Pro team trying to catch up sa mga standings natin from the bottom 8. I do want to see a little bit more out of these 2 teams, kaya seeing them perform tomorrow, yun nga yung parang isa mga watch out ko para sa ating susunod na araw ng Impact Pero hindi lang naman yun ang mga patid ng Crossfire sa buong linggo natin. Meron pa tayong preview program on Friday. I'll be part of that podcast for the first time this season. So kasama natin si Vil, may kasama tayong mga talents, and we'll also have a special guest. Malalaman nyo yan pagdating ng announcement. And of course, after Friday, we have PH Masters on Saturday and Sunday. So be sure to check that out, mga kaibigan. Hindi pa tapos ang Crossfire sa buong nating linggo. And before we close everything off, Sneaky, you have any final words before the end of broadcast today?
Yeah, check out the preview show, man. I have nothing to plug, honestly, kasi Tuesday pa naman yung podcast namin. So, yun nga, check out the podcast, I guess. Yun nga, Sambayan ng Crossfire episode 1 is out sa Crossfire Times, and we did talk about ACL in the first 2 weeks ng Masters and impact on that episode. So, feel free to check it out, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for dropping by sa lahat ng mga nanonood from the Crossfire community. Without you, walang-wala talaga ang ating mga roadmap for PH Masters right now, and tsaka sa Impact as well. So thank you so much for giving us a shot. Thank you so much sa Smilegate as well para mabigyan kami ng opportunity para masabi yung mga kwento ng lahat ng mga CF players natin in the Philippines and the entire world as well. Ako nga pala si Ramon, kasama ko si Sneaky Frog. It has been a blast to have the chance na maikast ang buong Impact Summer for today's broadcast. At tomorrow, we'll have even more banger games pagdating sa ating Impact Summer 2025. We'll see you tomorrow.